Hello YouTube. Now in this video today guys, I want to have a chat with you all about my diary. So the first part is going to be about the diary, and then the second part is going to be about schedule and basically what type of work I have on when, and then the third will be a bit on flexibility and also my sort of thoughts on it. So let's go back in time. The first time when I first started my business, I used Apple Calendar. That was my diary. That was what I used to schedule work, and I'll be honest with you, when it worked, it was brilliant. So in theory I could add a date, a customer, and it would get booked in, and it worked really well. It would be updated onto my iPad, and I'd look on my iPad and it would be there. I'd book stuff in with my iPad, it would be then appear on my iPhone, and you know what, it was really good while it worked. And then I noticed that it started deleting things off, and then I was like, okay, I thought it was me. The first few times it happened, I thought it was me, and I noticed it would be selective in who it was deleting off, as in certain customer who I've had for a good while would be just gone. I was like, where have they gone? And I kept ahead of it, because obviously when I first started, it wasn't like I was rammed off my feet with work, so I could keep tabs on it. Then when work started picking up, I had one person ring up and said, oh, where are you? And I'd booked her in a good while ago, and I don't know whether it was me or the customer who got the date wrong, because I looked and her booking had completely gone. So, and it was fine, it was sorted. I think I made something up. I said, oh, sorry, there's been a problem with my thing. And she was fine. It never ended up getting, bad. Nothing happened basically. It was, like I said, fine. But it shouldn't have happened. And there was other things where it started. It kept deleting people off, and in the end, I just thought I couldn't be arsed with it. It was annoying. So what I did is I switched to a physical diary, but not I think I started with a diary like an A4 one, where it had so many pages, but it just got annoying. I know it sounds trivial, but I was flicking through pages, and then it was just a pain in the arse. And then when you went halfway through the year, so if you bought a diary halfway through the year, you had to flick through halfway through. It was just a nightmare. So I know, first world problems, but I like being efficient. So what I ended up doing was I ended up making my own quote diary. So what I did was I thought, what do I want? I want to see roughly as far ahead as I can with my work, because when people ring up, and they're normally ringing up to book in or something, I don't want to be flicking through because I lose track, I know. So I thought, right, so what I did is I got a piece of paper, and this might help you, it might not, but this is my current diary now, and I've stuck with it for years and it's worked. So I got a sheet of A4 paper, I fold it, so have it as tall like this, so have the tall side facing up, fold it into three, and then so you've got 3 columns all the way down the page, hard lined in, and then fold it into 7, so you end up with a 3x7 grid. Now I normally leave the first 2 folds at the bottom become the Saturday and Sunday, and I leave them very slim, and then the rest of the days of the week get bigger. And then what I do is I then sharpie it, and then that way it just saves me gridding it out. But I just sharpie it in. I know, as I said, and I normally have 2, because I'll go a little bit into the month before, normally a little bit into obviously the main month, and a little bit into next month, and that works fine. And that actually has been, and so anyway, so let me finish off the diary and I'll big it up to you. So I then put in the top column, so the top 3 columns are all Mondays, and then it goes Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, but there's Monday, all Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then that way, if a customer rings up and says like, oh, when you next come in, is it a Monday? And I can look at the Monday all the way across for like 6 weeks, and I can go, yep, I'll see you on the such and such date. Simple. To me, that's the simplest way of doing it, and I really like it because, like I said, I can just jump ahead. Literally, I can see my whole month's work on one page, well, 1 and a bit pages, and even into next month. Brilliant. So what I do is at the start of the month, or the start of a sheet, I'll use last month's sheet, and I stick them both together so they're in date order. So, and literally, if I go to every customer every 2 weeks, I will literally put, you know, miss 1 week, miss another week, you know, miss one, do one, miss one, do one, and then I fill out my month and a half at the start of the month and a half, basically. So I know, I think with me at the moment, I've got every other Thursday free, in air quotes, and I think Fridays are actually full now, but before I would have like Fridays free as well. And that was good because at the start of the month I was like, fuck, I've got every other Thursday, I've got, you know, 1 Tuesday free in the whole month, I've got half a day Sunday free, which I normally have off anyway, as a day off, but I'll get into that. And then I'm like, oh, I've got that, and I've got every other Friday free. I'm like, fuck, I need to hustle, and that keeps me busy. But I'll be honest with you, it fills up on its own accord, basically. It just does, whether it's from old customers, new customers, it literally just finds a way, and it just fills itself up. So for me, my workflow is split 70%, and I'll tell you this, it's about 60 to 70% of my income is not guaranteed, but it's regular customers. They're a hardcore customer base, they've been with me for a while. I always say this to people, when people tend to have me, they tend to stick with me. Yes, you know, we've posted videos of customers parting ways, but it's always one-offs normally. Okay, there's, you know, there has been a couple of regulars, but majority now, like 90% of the time, probably more than that, people tend to have, you know, SGM and stick with SGM. So that's something I'm very proud of. I have a very high retention rate with my customers. So that means that, I'll be honest with you, the majority of my income is sort of sorted, it is, but we can't rest on that now, can we? So I use adverts and not networking, but talking to people, you know, if that's networking, it is, I suppose, and other things to boost that. So at the start of the month, I'll probably have 6 empty squares, and then by the end of the month, I'll probably fill them all up. Adding and cancelling people is simple. I just tip X amount. It's simple. I found I used to do arrows, but it got a pain in the arse. Physically tip X amount and then write the name where it should go is what I do. I know this sounds super crude, but you can tell I like my business as easy as possible. I like the work I get as easy as possible. You know, I keep saying low-hanging fruit. I believe in it, and I don't want to be going home and doing anything technical. The thought of these apps does sound appealing, I must admit. I did give Google Diary a go. I think I set it up, but it wasn't as intuitive as I wanted. And I'll be honest with you, I think the way I've done it is as simple as possible, because it's all there if I need it. Like, if I need it, I can see it. What I do at the end of every month is I just cut the page off and then stick it in my folder, so I can go back 3 years ago and tell you where I was on Monday the 12th of June, you know what I mean, because it's all there. And yes, you can do that on apps, but I'm always, maybe it's me and technology, but I'm always worried about what if you can't. But I can with paper. Yes, I've got a box of papers, but it doesn't take up much room really. And I suppose after, you know, 4 years, you could probably chuck them away, you won't need them. I don't know. So as I said, I like my sort of diary and my sort of workflow to be as simple and easy as possible. So as I said, majority of my, well, 60%, 70%, is that a majority? I don't know. I normally do 6 days a week, could be, is pre-booked, pre-sorted out, and I leave space for customers. So I will, you know, if I take on a regular customer, they theoretically I will leave space for them all year. So if somebody books me in, you know, well in advance, say if somebody says, right, Sam, I want you to do the power, you know, a job for me in a couple of months, and it's a one-off and it's a new customer, I know what day I can normally stick them in, because that's when I'm normally free. I don't tend to move my regulars around much if I can help it, because I'm going to say it, but I don't mean it as horrible as it sounds. I've not trained and conditioned them, but I have. As in, they're used to me turning up on a certain time on a certain day. I know with my regular customers, I can turn up when it's pissing down and they'll still let me work, because they know Sam can get it done in this conditions. You don't have to worry. They know I'm reliable, they know I'm trustworthy, they know they can leave the gate open. You know, I'll never have it where customers leave the property open. Yes, the gate's fine, but I'll never ever have it where a customer will leave a door open. So, you know, people have said to me, oh, I'm just going out, I'll leave my back door open, and I always say to them, don't, just lock it up, because I don't want that on my risk. You know, I don't want to think if I go and something happens, you know. But customers can trust me and I can trust them to a degree, because they, you know, we've been working together for a while now. So that's the 60-70%. And then literally, I'll be honest with you, I'd say theoretically the rest is a mix of new customers, you know, new work popping up out of nowhere, and then one-off work from my existing customers. So every so often an existing customer will say, oh, could you book us in for the power washing, could you book us in for the gutter cleaning? The exterior cleaning, when it's during certain times, I always try and club it together in one anyway. So power washing, I will always book a power washing job in, and I'll push it as far back to the month as I can. Or if I've got a free day coming up, I'll book it as a first job. And then the hope is that I can either tag it on with another power washing job, because I normally leave a day for that, or with it being at the end of the month, I get more and then I can tack it on then. And the reason is the power washer takes up so, and same with the exterior cleaning, it just takes up so much room in the van that I don't want to be, I can't do both in a day, you see. I can, but it'll mean going and get the power washer, loading it, doing a job, and I get dirty doing it as well, and then coming back and unloading it. Maybe with a trailer that would help me, but it won't. I will still always do the power washing and the exterior cleaning in one job. Other work I've got is I've got one window cleaning customer. I think I told you guys, and that's good because it's 10 minutes work and it's a decent little bit of money, if I'm being honest with you, considering it's 10 minutes work. And then the rest of it is literally just new customers. I have people who I do a hedge for, you know, quite a few people where I'll do their hedge once a year, and then they will ring up, book it in. You know, as I said, I do have quite a good retention rate with people, and I think if you do a good job, you will, because people, they're not lazy, but they don't want to gamble. Some people, you know, they know they've got Sam who'll do it. You know, why would they want to look elsewhere when someone's done them a good job? You know, obviously charged them what they think's a fair price because they paid it and not complained. So, yeah, flexibility wise and work wise, I don't have set days off. Again, as I said, when I do my schedule, with me, my big hobby is fighting robots. Not me personally, but the robots I design and make, they fight other robots. And the big one for me and my hobby is competitions, and literally they are normally advanced months in advance, 2 months, 3 months in advance. So again, it's so easy to book them in, and I'll book them in, and I'll be honest with you, most of the time they're on a weekend, so I don't have to mess around regular customers. But if I did, you know, say if I wanted to go away and it landed on regular customer, I would. And I said to you at the start, I don't like doing that, but at the same time, why are you working if you can't go away on holiday, you know, because you're going to disrupt Mr. and Mrs. such and such? But all of my customers, and maybe this is part of the conditioning process, I don't know, but all of my customers, if I rung them up and said, okay, if it's key critical thing, but even then, if it's key critical, if I rung them up the night before and said, hey, Mr. Such and Such, ever so sorry, I can't do tomorrow, but I booked you in for X date. Yep, no problem. They know I don't take the piss. They know I don't mess them about. It's very rare that I have to do it. If I do it, you know, they understand. And that's took time, getting the customer base like that. Because, trust me, I had it with people where, oh, you remember when I first started, they were nightmares. Some people, they wanted to be in. They wanted to know exactly the minute you were coming. If you were 5 minutes late, they were ringing up, where are you? They retired. They didn't go out. And they don't go out. I'm not saying that's a stereotype. These people never went out. But it was a control thing for them. So, as I said, my customer base is very good. I, you know, look after them, they'll look after you. And I know that's a bit thingy, but there's some people won't, some people take advantage, but the majority of people, you treat them fairly, they'll treat you fairly. So I don't have any set days off. So as I said at the start, if I have a Thursday, I always try and leave, you know, work. So if I have, you know, work coming in, inquiries, I will always book in for, like, I'll always tack a small job onto like the end of the day or something. I won't take up a fresh day, because my hope is I always want to leave full days. But then when it comes to it, you know, if a big job comes in, or an exterior cleaning or power washing, then, well, obviously I book it in there, and then, you know, into the empty day, and then that becomes the cleaning day. But then work in general, like if I get to the end of the month and I've got a day off, I'll take it, you know, no work's coming, I'll take it. But normally it does get filled up. I'll be honest with you, my spare time, if I want it off, I'll have it off for one, but I enjoy my job. So for me, I don't mind so much, you know, working so much, sorry. But if I do want time off, I will make time off. But I'll be honest with you, most of it comes from like impromptu things. So I've got, you know, good friends and like good people around me, and it so happens that they're quite flexible actually. So if we have a freak weather storm like this, you know, where say if I have half a day off, I'll just ring them, or if I get cancelled, and I'll be honest with you, one of them's normally free, then we end up down the pub eating chicken wraps. That's what we normally do actually, or having a fry up, one of the two. But as I said, it's not all about working, but for me, I've got the work-life balance that I want. But saying that, in the future I want to change that a little bit, because there's more things that I want to do, and there's a big project that I want to do, which will mean I get more time. As for the weekends, I normally work them, and I'll tell you why. Commercial work, let me know about this. Now, the commercial work that I've got, I prefer to do it on a Saturday or a Sunday. I don't really like eating in to I like to leave it on, I like to do it on a Saturday, Sunday. The option is there for me to do it on a weeknight, but, you know, when you've done a full day, it's, for me anyway, I'd rather do a Sunday morning than go and do like a 6 o'clock till 9 o'clock job. Do you know what I mean? That's just me, you know, but that's the balance that I've got. I suppose if I had a wife and kids, you know, they'd want the Sunday mornings with the kids, maybe. Don't know. But by and large, the commercial work that I do it when no one's there. There's nothing worse than trying to work around people's cars, especially if it's a tight area. It's just a nightmare. So I hope that's answered some questions. I know parts of it are very basic, especially with my calendar, but if you want to see it, you know, whichever. But as I said, have a good day, guys. Keep on gardening.